I made up my mind early that my career as a lawyer would not be based on making money. Making money has never been a factor in my life. Never. I never saw the need to make money. Even up, man. I don't know whether money is the source of all evil, but I think it's trying to chase like wind and compromises principles.
Get ready to go behind the scenes of a remarkable life. In an intimate but rare interview with Damari Sagwanyu, Justice Kakuru shares his life's journey through his personal anecdotes and professional milestones. Through his own words, photographs, and reflections, this mini-documentary offers a glimpse into the life of a remarkable individual. Join us as we explore the story of Justice Kakuru, a man of passion, dedication, and integrity.
My childhood was good. We had 12 siblings, same father, same mother. My father was a reverend in the Anglican Church. We lived as a close family. But of course, 12 siblings would not live in the same house because of the age differences. By the time I was born, my eldest brother had already left for London to do his degree. My sister, who followed him, was already attending a nurse's course. So I grew up with the last 6. Invariably, we were very close. Our houses were not big. We slept in the same rooms. We played. The church was a privileged institution in the colonial regime, especially the Protestant church, that they were very close to the missionaries close to the government. The colonialists favored the Protestants. They had schools, trained my mother and my father in the European way of living. In the old order, a person was ordained together with the wife. The ministry was joint. My mother was trained to train young girls who were preparing for confirmation. After confirmation, then they would get married, because no one would get married in church before confirmation. Reading the Bible, writing, praying in the morning and at night, including singing hymns and reading a lesson from the Bible every night. All of us, not just the children, even the workers. I really can't just pinpoint. All I did in my life was to simplify it. I simplified it by saying, I'll simply do what my parents taught me to do. Simple. So I continued with the church. I was in the Scripture Union, the University Scripture Union. When I became a lawyer, we founded the Christian Lawyers Fraternity. I was a warden. I simply followed the Christian principles my parents passed on as a pastor. I felt that the education system was very oppressive. In primary school, they used to cane us, and I thought it was quite unjustified in most cases. They would beat the whole class talking, including people who were not talking. I was never an A student. I was a B or B minus. I was never an A student. Just the group that followed the top. You are just safe. I never wanted to pursue law at all. It was never in my mind. Though during my senior 4 VAC, I read many novels on Pare Manson, and they were fascinating, but I never wanted to do law. I actually wanted to do engineering, but I was poor at mathematics and physics. But I was good at technical drawing, metal work, I was good at fine art. You just take guidance from peers. So my friends and my classmates and my sibling, who was 1 year ahead of me, advised me to take a course that I'm likely to pass, because at that time there were no private universities and admission to the universities was strictly on merit. You are either admitted or you are not admitted according to your results. So they said, law was attracted the highest points. So I applied, I put social work and social administration on the forms. My class teacher called Mr. Muwonge returned the form to me and said, cross this out and put law. I explained to him, said, no, I'm your teacher, put law. And the rest is history. I passed very well. I was admitted for law in 1979. I don't know any particular person other than my parents, and in particular my father. My father was never a worshipper of persons. I have never in my life been mesmerized by people, what they do. I think that people are just individuals. What they do, other people have done before and others will do after. I don't know. I think I was more led by principles than what individuals do, especially living in a Christian community where you see as a child, as you grow up, that actually people don't practice what they say and are not actually what they are perceived to be. Just to give you a little bit of background, my father had a lot of fights within the church, especially with his superiors, over principles. It would have been easier for him to be a sycophant and get promoted and be loved. Let me tell you some life-changing things in my life. When I started senior 5, I was doing history. And my teacher, Mr. Hamid Karfan, was a fresh graduate from the University of Dar es Salaam. And he introduced us to the leftist view of history and life. We read Walter Rodney's book, How Europe Had Evolved Africa, when I was in senior 5 and senior 6. We read Franz Fanon, The Wretched of the Earth. We got to know the Afrocentric view of history and the Eurocentric view of history. We learned so many revolutionizing things which detoxicated me from the colonial education that I had studied all along. Speke did not discover the source of the Nile, the Ripon Falls. He was actually taken there by African guides. The Bible preceded the flag, that the missionaries came to pave a way to colonialists, that the colonialists did not come to civilize us, they destroyed our civilization. Slave trade is blamed on Africans, but if there were no plantations in Jamaica and Tennessee and wherever are requiring labor, there would never have been slave markets in Africa. Taught us about Timbuktu and the Islamic civilization, and I mean, it changed my way of life, of looking at each and everything. We started a leftist movement at the university, especially at the Faculty of Law. And remember, I grew from teenage to early adulthood during Amin's regime, most oppressive. We were forced in secondary school to go and twice actually, in 1973 and 1978, to witness public executions where people who had been tried in the court, in the military tribunal, were executed. At the clock tower, they executed 14 people on the same day. Bara, they executed one. So you can imagine the revulsion and the anger and the need for peace and justice and democracy, and that could have been going on in a 20-21 year old. You should note, 1979, in July, is the year I enrolled at the university at the Faculty of Law. That year, Amin had been overthrown, Bokassa had been overthrown, Nguema had been overthrown. The Shah of Iran had been overthrown. The Sandinista regime, the Sandinistas had taken Nicaragua. Pol Pot had been removed from Cambodia by Vietnamese. Soviet Union invaded Afghanistan. That's the world we were living in at that very time. I was never deployed because by the time we finished our training, I finished my training, the Aminist regime had been overthrown, and I had one of the commanders who was my friends at Imbarra School came and took me away and said, go and do your law degree. We no longer need riflemen. We need intellectuals for the future. We have enough riflemen. I think so. I don't know whether I did, but I didn't become a rifleman. It's a different person. We had leftist study groups. We had to study Marxism, everything you can think of, the theory of knowledge, dialectical materialism, the works of Lenin, Marx's theories of these books on value and labor. The Bible was replaced by Das Kapital. But it helped me understand many things which were not taught to us. For example, Engels' book, The Origin of Family, Private Property and the State, and many other things in economics, in history. As I grew up, I didn't find that the Christian principles were in conflict with the other leftist principles. I think it was the presentation and the interpretation. On my graduation day, my father gave me a charge. It's a task he wanted to do in life as a charge. And it is contained in Proverbs chapter 31. It is a story, the queen of Israel had lost the husband, and the son had just been installed as king. After he had been crowned, the mother sat him down and gave him advice. It is recorded there. You are my own dear son, I'm where the answer to my prayers. What can I tell you? Don't waste all your time and energy on women. Women have destroyed kings. Do not drink alcohol. Alcohol is for the poor and the needy. Let them drink and forget their misery. If you drink alcohol, you will forget their laws and whatever. But in the end, she said, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves. Yes, he said, speak up for those who cannot speak for themselves and be a righteous judge. And I had it printed out, framed in a photo frame, and I kept it in my office. From the day I opened my office in 1988, 87, up to now, it's still there in my law judge's chambers. I made my mind early that my career as a lawyer would not be based on making money. Making money has never been a factor in my life. Never. I never saw the need to make money, even at money. I don't know whether money is the source of all evil, but I think it's trying to chase like wind and compromises principles. Make money, but not make it a pursuit of life. I made money. Even now, I have money. In law, I practiced law for 27 years, but no single person ever complained against me to any authority or law society or law council or wherever. Not even once. My prayer as a young person starting to work was very simple. I said, God, give me a 3-bedroom house, a car, and 4 children. That's all. I never look at other people. I look at myself. Yes. I look at my blessings as me. There will always be people who want to be you. There are always people who you will never catch. So what is the futility? You try to catch this one comes from behind and overtakes you. What are you going to do? You build a beautiful house. 5 years later, a younger person builds a much bigger and more beautiful house next to you're going to demolish yours. Where are you going to end? We had a faculty of law that was dominated by, earlier the University of Dar es Salaam was the University of East Africa. The faculty of law was in Dar es Salaam. The faculty of medicine was at Makerere. The faculty of architecture and other things were in Nairobi. So most of our lecturers at that time, and people who had come from exile after Amin's overthrow, who had been exiled in Tanzania and other countries, came with leftist views, our professors and all that. So I graduated in 1982 in December, then went for the bar course 1980, the other half of 82 and 83, then waited for the bar, and I was enrolled in December 1986. I started my legal practice about a year after.